Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dragon Talk. My name is Greg Tito, and I'm joined, as always, by Shelly Shelly is gone. She's not here. It's very sad for all involved. Most of us are, wearing sad faces as we have been Shellyless these last 2 weeks. She is off gallivanting, doing things with her family, and we wish her the best, but dang it, we miss her. How are you guys doing on this fine Friday? It is Friday. Is anyone else thinking TGIF right now? Because I am. It has been a busy week. We here at the D&D team, it was busy on the marketing side of things as well, because we announced something called D&D Live 2019, The Descent. Last week was when we first let you guys know about it, and on Tuesday we opened up badge sales, and they're going swimmingly well. So very excited about that, and all the people we've been able to add to our guest list. We have tons of podcasters that I'm excited to see creating content from D&D Live, as well as streamers, YouTubers, and other entertainers extraordinaire. It's going to be pretty crazy. How's everybody going in the chat? Did everybody have fun with D&D community for the last hour? I was busy prepping and doing all kinds of stuff, so I didn't get a chance to watch it, but we did have it on display in a very large television in the D&D area, and it looked like it was tons of fun. So thank you to Lisa and Hannah and Celeste for all of that fun stuff. I didn't get to see Hadil's pre-recorded content, but I will be watching the VOD of that, and it looks pretty fun. So glad everybody got to enjoy. And yes, we have the red box. We're announcing the new red box. No, this is the D&D starter set that is themed for Stranger Things. It is strange. It is a thing. It is beautiful. We talked about this a little while ago at New York Toy Fair, and people were very excited about it. But here it is in the flesh. It's in the shrink wrap. This is actually what people will be able to purchase. And I say will because I know people have already purchased it in some cases. This is a Hasbro gaming-led product. They put together all of the the packaging and the distribution and all of that. So it's been a little bit different than what typical D&D products are like. So if you see any anomalies in the marketplace, that is why. It is not a traditional D&D channel type of thing. But we did contribute to the story, the adventure that is included within Dungeons & Dragons, and we had a lot to say with the look and feel of some of the products within it. But that is to say, it was sold all through different channels than it would normally be, and because of that, Hasbro was able to promote it a whole bunch more than they normally would, and it was reaching top of the list on Amazon pre-orders and things like that for toys and games, which you don't typically see Dungeons & Dragons on those lists, so it was really cool to see that. The list that Dungeons & Dragons is usually on is things like self-help, nonfiction, which always makes me laugh. But I think, you could make arguments that D&D is both of those things for reals. And yes, Angry Gamer Mom. Yes, I love that it comes with 2 minis, 1 painted and 1 to paint. I do too. I personally, I thought when I started pitching this here on this podcast as well as on the Twitch streams that they were the Demogorgon from I want to say, was it the Fiend Folio that it first appeared in? But like the way that the miniature looks as the Demogorgon when Mike in the show of Stranger Things puts it down on the table. I thought it was going to be that and the Demogorgon of what it appears like in the show. But it is 2 identical Demogorgons of what appears like in the show. One has got like a red tinted paint job on it. The other one, yes, you can paint yourself, which hopefully encourages a lot of people to jump into that. So good times all around. We also unboxed during D&D News the Dungeon of the Mad Mage board game. That was tons of fun. There is tiles and pieces and cards galore within it. But the funnest part, at least for me, was to show off all of the miniatures that you get in the premium edition. Well, you get the same miniatures in the non-premium edition. But the painted miniatures the pre-painted miniatures in the premium edition is pretty darn sweet if you are looking for a large number of, Waterdeep themed or Dungeon of the Mad Mage themed, or even some miniatures that you can't get, through your blind boxes that you would purchase them through WizKids. You do a lot worse than to purchase the D&D Adventure System game here and get all of those in one fell swoop. They're pretty cool. I love them. A lot of PCs in there, as well as villains that you can use that are pretty awesome. Eli Dark at Heart asks, how much is the premium? And that's a good question. Let me see if I have that in my handy dandy doc here. Searching for premium does nothing. Nothing for me. So we've got a great show. I'm trying to get this for you now. While I do that, let me talk about what's going on with the show today. So it is by myself for this first hour. Did you say something? 159 cents. No, 159 Canadian dollars. No, 159 euros. No, it is 159 US dollars. So not inexpensive, I will say. But like I said, you get a whole bunch of minis and the chance to jump into the Adventure System game, which for those of you who don't know, it follows a lot of the ways that 4th edition allowed for tactical combat and movement, and it's a DM-less system. So players can enjoy it by putting down tiles and figuring out what's going to happen in that room and combating the monsters that are experienced within it. But I've also heard from a lot of folks that they like to play that when they can't find a group. They can play it solo because, again, it's DM-less, so you kind of have that tactical exploration feel. You can level up your characters, I believe, with this one to level 4, which is the first time you can do that in the Adventure System game system. So that's where it's at. Answering questions. That's what I like to do here. But back to the show. We are going to talk to you guys directly here for this first hour. I'm going to record some intros for this podcast episode by myself, which is very sad, but I've been doing it. I did it the last couple of weeks now, so I, again, can't wait for Shelley to get back and to add some fun vocal impersonations to these intros and outros, but I'll be doing that for this first hour, talking to you guys in chat, and then I will be interviewing some very fun people from the Broken Pact. So we'll be talking to Ruben Bressler, as well as Jordan Pridgeon and Ashlyn Rose, which is going to be pretty awesome for all of that fun stuff. You guys ready for that? Yes. 3 people on the mic, and it will be great. Always have a lot of people talking at the same time. We'll be doing them through video conferencing like we do, but that'll be fun. I'm getting hot because I'm drinking hot coffee, and the lights are hot, and so it's time to don't turn down the lights, Ryan.
Looking good.
We're gonna do some Titty Prendergast pretty soon.
Some what?
You know that song with the taking a shower and whatnots. Do you know that someone actually slyly mentioned that on social media? And I was like, oh, yeah. But it wasn't even, I don't know if they realized that they were referencing that. And so I linked them to that song. Mm-hmm. Worthwhile for all. It is Dragon Talk After Dark, as Grandpappy77 says. Now, does that mean, Grandpappy77, I hate to call you out, but does that mean that you were born in 1977 or that you are 77 years old? Either way, that's awesome. My wife was born in 1977, so I have a special place in my heart for that, as well as it being, just a good round year all around. We're We're going to start stack ranking different years and how cool they are here on Dragon Talk. That's the next piece of content we'll be doing. We had that amazing interview from 1 p.m. Pacific time to 2 p.m. And then at 2, we have the return of Jeremy Crawford for a Sage Advice segment. I love talking to Jeremy about rules and mechanics and the philosophy behind them. So we will be jumping into, actually, we haven't picked a topic yet. So we will be jumping into whatever Jeremy wants to discuss from 2 to 3 p.m. today on twitch.tv/D&D. And then we've got Binwin Plays right after that, followed by the season finale of Tales from the Mists. So we talked to TK Johnson and Lisa Chen last week from, talking about Tales from the Mists and its closing and the storytelling going on there. So, that episode of Dragon Talk just went live this morning as Bart Carroll was able to do that from the European Union. He's there for TwitchCon EU. But yeah, check that out if you haven't already. The VODs are all here on Twitch for that, but you can download that in podcast form right now. So if you like to listen to it in your earbuds as you're working out or on your way to school or work, that's the way to do it. Yes, Mists, it's happening. It's going to be fun. It will be going on. Obo Crazy says 77 was an excellent year because that's when she was born. That's right. See, I'll hands. That's high-fiving all around. That's me reading, and this is great content, isn't it? Is it Ryan Martha just looking at me like, are you going to get to the thing where you're going to do the intros? Yes, we shall get to the thing when we do the intros. So good for you, Grandpappy, 77. You were born that way, so that's good on you. Looks like we got a lot of 77ers here in the chats. All right, enough of that. I am going to get into talking about the intro for next week's Dragon Talk. Let's do it. You want to do it? We're staying on Skeggy. Gosh dang it. Welcome to Dragon Talk. I'm Greg Tito. I am here by myself with no one else except for Ryan and Pelham looking at me and staring down into my eyes. This is the second week in a row where I don't have Shelly Mazanoble with me on the mic. Actually, maybe the third week in a row as I'm thinking about what we published on the Dragon Talks. So she will be coming back next week, I promise. She will be returning, and we will have more updates about what her vacation was like. We'll find out if she got to play any games with Quinn and all of that fun stuff. I'm sure she's got stories to tell, as she always does. So we look forward to that. We're also looking forward to a bunch of things here in D&D. One is the interview that's coming up on this here podcast. We're talking to folks from the Broken Pact, a D&D show that's been set in the world of Ravnica, which is from Magic the Gathering. We released Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica last fall, and folks have really enjoyed it. And it's full of lore about that world and everything involved in it. So we'll be talking to Ruben Bressler, the Dungeon Master for that, as well as two of the cast members, Ashlyn Rose and Jordan Pridgeon, and that's going to be tons of fun. So can't wait to jump in. We also have a Sage Advice coming down the pipe, which we don't get to do as much as I would love. So we'll be talking to Jeremy Crawford in the segment for that. So that's one thing we're looking forward to. Another thing we're looking forward to is Ghost of Saltmarsh. That book comes out May 21st. It is real ghosty. You get to play, with your dungeon master as a player going through a nautical campaign. There's lots of ghosts in the sea and Sahuagin. It will take you from, if you play through all of the adventures in that book that were updated from previous adventures published in the Dungeons & Dragons canon. They're all updated for 5th edition and strung together in a campaign that was created by the current D&D team to create a continuous story that'll take you from levels 1 all the way up to level 12. and perhaps beyond, because there is tons of material in there that you can use in seafaring campaigns, and either using those adventures or not, just throwing them in there. So that's awesome, and I can't wait for that. There's 2 covers for that, just to make sure everyone knows. One is the standard cover that was designed by Gregors Rutkowski. It's fantastic. We've got a Kraken taking down a ship in the background, as well as in the foreground, a Sahuagin climbing into a small boat with D&D adventurers. I love that piece of art. It's fantastic. It is being shown right now for those of you who are watching on twitch.tv/D&D. And then there is, of course, an alternate cover that is designed by N.C. Winters, a wonderful artist, and it features a Sahuagin in all of its glory, reaching out towards the viewer, and it's got claws and scales. The cover itself has a soft touch to it, similar to Volo's Guide to Monsters, and it also has a kind of a metallic kind of sheen to it within the artwork. So that alternate cover is only available in game stores. You can only get it there. So if you're interested in grabbing the alternate cover, go into your game store now. Let them know that you want to purchase it when it comes out on May 21st. All other outlets that you would purchase Dungeons & Dragons stuff, whether that be online or at big box stores, at bookstores, through some of our online D&D partners like Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, or D&D Beyond. You can purchase all that. Also on May 21st, pre-orders are open for those as well. Another thing that we're looking forward to in Dungeons & Dragons world is Acquisitions Incorporated, the book. It is coming out on June 18th, and it is 224 pages of comedy adventure goodness. I've been using the word madcap as an adjective to describe what happens on stage at PAX, and you'll be able to recreate that at your very table using all the content in Acquisitions Incorporated, mostly written by Jerry Holkins, as well as some other fantastic writers out there, cobbled together using stuff from different sources, as well as an adventure or like a mini campaign. You'll be able to start up your own chapter of Acquisitions Incorporated using the guidelines in that book, and it's got tons of fun stuff. Hopefully, you've seen an episode or 2 of Acquisitions Incorporated at PAXs around the last decade or so of them having adventured together. The most current iteration has Jeremy Crawford as the Dungeon Master, and it is pretty fun. I've seen, I guess not enough of it, but there is one GIF going around with Jeremy Crawford waving his finger at the camera that is just basically everything I love about D&D summed up in one fell swoop. So check that out if you haven't already, and look forward to Acquisitions Incorporated coming to bookstores as well as all those other outlets on June 18th. So that's one more thing we're looking forward to. The other thing we're looking forward to is D&D Live 2019, The Descent. This event is coming off the heels of the award-winning Stream of Many Eyes. I say multi because we just found out today, as I'm recording this, that we received a second award for the Stream of Many Eyes as an event. Yay! That's right. We got the Drum Marketing Award in the USA. Those awards were UK-based previously, but now they have a USA chapter, and we received an award for Best Event/Experiential Strategy. And I think the Stream of Many Eyes actually was a combination of both of those. You got to experience being in the city of Waterdeep at D&D Live, as well as having an event and experience that all with the D&D community. And we are expanding upon all of those award-winning ideas in the next event. As I said, D&D Live 2019, The Descent. It is at the same location that the Stream of Many Eyes was at Line 204 Studios, May 17th, 18th, and 19th. At 4 p.m. on May 17th, you'll find out what the new adventure coming from Dungeons & Dragons is going to be this year. It is pretty darn cool, I have to say. Everyone that I have mentioned it to, and that includes all the podcasters, streamers, YouTubers, and other fun musicians and comedians and actors that I've been assembling for this event. Everyone that I've told them about what the story is going to be has pretty much had the same reaction, which is, "What?" or "Oh my goodness." No, that's none of those. No, nobody had that exact reaction. But I'm extrapolating. That's what they would. They're all been pretty amazed, and I can't wait for the fan community to have that same reaction when we start talking about it on May 17th. We'll throw out a whole bunch of information about the products that are associated with that, as well as allowing people to play in that world immediately. Well, not immediately. The next day, folks will be able to, everybody who's got a badge and a ticket to D&D Live will be able to play in a D&D epic set in the exact same world, using themes and characters and, dare I say, monsters from the adventure that we just announced the day prior. So that's pretty interesting. D&D epics are a special way to play Dungeons & Dragons. For those of you who may be unfamiliar, it is, in this case, going to be 25 tables. So whatever 6 times 25 is, 150, something like that. 150 D&D players, each with their own dungeon master, so 25 DMs, and then 2 to 3 Uber DMs that are controlling what's happening in the entire space. So everyone in the room, so all those 150 players are all working towards the same meta goals, but you're all playing like different little squads that are working together more locally at your table. There will be things that happen that will affect the tables that are directly adjacent to you, as well as the entire room, which I find really fascinating. And it's basically like a huge cooperative storytelling event, all told through Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League. And we're amping it up for this event by having lots of visuals, it's going to be on an amazing set. It's going to be full of costumed NPCs walking around, delivering, some story, maybe giving you some choices to the players. Lighting is going to be key. There's going to be some extra special miniatures that everyone is going to be able to play with, and I'm very excited. So it's going to be a super premium event, and I can't wait for folks to be able to jump in and start playing Dungeons & Dragons at one of the events that we're creating, talking about D&D. So that's great. There's going to be 3 sessions of that. They're 3 hours long each. People who have purchased badges for D&D Live to this event, I encourage you to grab your tickets for each one of those sessions if you haven't already. But that's not all. That's I want to say a fifth of the stuff that's going on at Dungeons & Dragons Live or D&D Live, depending on, whether you mess it up or not. So yeah, there's going to be 4 studio pods happening or having content going all Saturday and all Sunday. So if you take all the type of streaming that we did at the Stream of Many Eyes and multiply it by 4, you might get close to the amount of hours of content that we'll be streaming on this Twitch channel, as well as other multiple Twitch channels, but also Facebook Live, Twitter, all kinds of different ways to get the content. YouTube gaming, all those stuff. We're going to be streaming to as many platforms as possible to capture the largest number of audience possible. So that is pretty exciting. A lot of the groups that we have announced already are scheduled out, and it's a pretty robust schedule, so it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm also really excited about the podcasters that will be there, as well as some of the YouTubers that are, deliver content that is not necessarily gameplay related, but, kind of talking about what D&D is and some interesting ways to do fun things. So that'll be going on, as I said, all day on Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll have evening time performances and entertainment in the main studio room that will be live D&D games, similar to what we've done the last few years with a star-studded cast. That'll happen on Friday night and Saturday night. Dungeon Masters for that are going to be Kate Welch, Jeremy Crawford, Chris Perkins, and I haven't really announced this yet, but I think I'm going to spoil it right here. Marisha Ray from Critical Role will be the other Dungeon Masters. So we're going to have 4 for that. So that's really exciting. And we'll be letting everybody know the full cast list for those events on Friday and Saturday night during D&D Live very soon. Check out dnd.wizards.com/D&D Live 2019 for all of your information about that event and purchase tickets if you can. And then on Sunday night, the main piece of entertainment that will close it all out is a music performance from members of the D&D community, some amazing bands. Chris Funk from the Decemberists has putting together an amazing bill of performers, and that'll be like a 2 to 3 hour long concert in celebration of D&D. We'll show off some cosplay and all the fun stuff that's going on there because, and this is the final fifth of what's going on at D&D Live, there is going to be cosplayers and vendors dressed up as if they are in the adventure that we'll be announcing on that Friday. So you'll be able to purchase all kinds of D&D merch you can't get anywhere else from those partners, as well as experience a storyline from costumed performers that will give little tidbits and improvise stories with you. And if you do all of the content of that story, all of that quest, you will receive a very special piece of loot that you can't get anywhere else. And it's going to be a circle. Check it out if you can. That's D&D Live 2019, The Descent. It is very exciting. It's what I've been working on a lot the last few months, as well as pretty much everybody here on the D&D team putting some time and energy into making that be awesome. And I can't wait to show it off. It's about a month away, a month and a week away. So mark your calendars. For those of you at home, you can watch again all of it on twitch.tv/DND or go to the website to find out all of it. We'll be showing off all of the content that's streaming live from that website, so you'll be able to pick and choose what to watch. And, of course, all of it will be available on demand after the event. But we're looking forward to getting as many eyeballs as possible watching D&D Live and celebrating everything that's great about the D&D community. And I can't wait. It's going to be fun. So, I have to do this all again with Shelly. I have to learn all up on what this event is all going to be next week. But we have amazing guests who will be dropping in here on the podcast, talking about what they're going to be doing at the event and in the couple of weeks to come. That's going to be exciting. Some of the folks I've already mentioned are going to be there. So the Broken Pact cast is going to be there, playing Dungeons & Dragons live in front of everyone at that studio, in one of those studio pods. Tales from the Mists, who I've already mentioned, they are going to be there, as well as our friends D&D Beyond. They'll be doing tons of content from their studio. Dare I say, me and Shelly might also be there. Yes, we will definitely be there. We will be drinking some coffee in the morning times, talking about all of the fun products that our partners and stuff are able to do, bringing in people like, Justin Zoran from WizKids. We'll be talking to, hopefully, Matthew Lillard from Beetle and Grimm's about what they've got planned for this adventure, and maybe even talk to Joe Manganello about death saves and what he's able to bring to the event. So that's just us, a smattering of the folks that we'll be talking to, but there's just so much content there, I can't even get it into talking about it in 15 minutes. So we'll be doing more stuff very soon, and rather than continue to listen to just my voice, let's add in some other voices, shall we? So let's have a little, before we get to our interview with the Broken Pact cast, let's hear from Jeremy Crawford about his sage advice on all of the things. All right. That was an intro. How long was that? That wasn't that long, was it? It was 400 minutes long.
Any guesses?
I'm going to say 19. 15. 15 minutes and 26. That's not too bad for an intro, actually. That's about the average. We have a 400. That's what Jack said. It was 400. That's awesome. How is everybody doing there in... Oh, I forgot to mention Rivals of Waterdeep will be there too. I'll mention you guys in the mid-tro during all that. God, there is just so much to talk about, Tanya. So so High Rollers, Rivals of Waterdeep. Gosh, there's so many. But I will just have to start doing a list. Just doing a list of all those things in there. How's everybody doing? I'm just looking at the chat here, making sure everything is good to go. She's saying, mid-tro it up. Yes, please text me reminders. That always helps. And I'm like, oh, gosh, what's happening? Oh, that's what's happening. Speaking of what's happening, I brought this on, which I don't normally like to tout my own horn or anything like. Oh, I'm all pointed that way, so you can actually see it. Dun dun dun. Last fall we got an award, the Marcum Awards, and it's a platinum one, which makes it very much in theme for Dungeons and Dragons, for the Stream of Many Eyes event, which was super cool. We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into making that happen, and it was very nice to get some recognition from outside sources about what that event was all about. I know everybody who was there, said over and over again about how, wonderful an experience was, and it really was. I mean, I was in tears, basically, about how that all came together, and we were able to show off with the wonders of Waterdeep in reality there. So we won this award last year, and we submitted the event to a whole bunch of other awards, and I'm happy to say that we won one more. We won the Drum Marketing Awards. I already talked about this in the intro, didn't I? But I'm letting you guys know again. So this hopefully we'll get like an actual trophy of this of the other award, and then all of a sudden we can be all multi-award winning. It's pretty amazing. Gosh, I probably should have polished this up before I brought this in here. It's all full of dust because it's been at my desk. It also had a Tito's vodka sweater here on the torch, so it's looking a little bit, worse for the wear. But I do like it. I have to clean it up, make sure it is all good. Ow! And the torch is very, very sharp. And of course, the Diana Jones Award. Yes, Tanya is reminding me here in the chat. So while that wasn't specifically given to Dungeons and Dragons or even any kind of group, that the Diana Jones Award was for all live play in general, which I think is pretty cool. Yes, I am that Tito. I wish I was the Tito who owned Tito's Vodka. I always say his actual name of the person who owns that company, his name is Tito Beverage, which, I mean, of course he's going to get into a company that makes beverages. That just makes perfect sense. Maybe I'll be the Tito Beverage of coffee.
I'm so happy that chat's embraced Sketchy.
No, who's saying Sketchy?
Everyone's saying Sketchy.
Damn, the Sketchy demands. No, I'm not joshing. His guy is actually named. He's actually named Tito. I think Tito is his nickname. I don't think it's actually his first name. But what's that? Bert. His actual name is Bert, but his nickname is Tito. Yeah. So there shall be no Sketchies talking. I did it again. Dang it. I love that poor Lisa and I are as tortured by Sketchy as how do you refer to something without saying it? Never mind. Metro. That's all I'm just going to say in the Metro. I'm just going to be like, Metro! And then you just cut right to the next bit. Oh, man, I always love talking to Jeremy about rules of Dungeons & Dragons, and more than that, the philosophy behind the design just makes my heart sing. And plus, Jeremy is just such a wonderful creator and dungeon master in his own right, and I can't wait for everybody to see him spin a yarn at D&D Live 2019 and talk all about that fun stuff. So that's going to be great. He's been doing a fantastic job with the Acquisitions Incorporated stuff. At the most recent one at PAX East, we've shown a bunch of times here on this Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/up, down, right, all around town. You know the address. It's fantastic. But that's where we record live this Dragon Talk podcast. So if you have never watched the video of this, or you want to see how silly we are or how much we make each other cry when we're not recording for the podcast, go ahead and watch some of those videos. I am going to throw it now to our interview with the amazing cast, well, not all of them, but many of the amazing cast and the Dungeon Master for Broken Pact, the Broken Pact, and I can't wait to hear about all of the fun stuff that they're doing and how much excitement they have for coming to D&D Live 2019, The Descent. So let's call them up. And I forgot to mention Rivals of Waterdeep, so I'll do it all again. But now I feel like I can't. I gotta do it all. I gotta do it in the mid-tro. I'm gonna do it again. We have time. I don't care about your dang Sketchy. We will sacrifice your Sketchy.
All right. Well, we got 20 minutes, so we're okay on it.
Yeah, no, that was actually a fast one. I went too fast on the mid-tro, right? I love talking to Jeremy Crawford. He makes my heart sing as we discuss D&D rules, mechanics, and everything about that. He's a fantastic creator, a wonderful storyteller in his own right, and I can't wait for you to tell them all the fun stories, or you to experience some of those stories in what we're going to announce at the D&D Live 2019, The Descent, in just a few weeks. So he's going to be a dungeon master there, and it's going to be fantastic. So I can't wait. Also, there will be some of my most favorite groups and people that I get to see at various events, but I'm very excited about them all being in one place. Everybody from Rivals of Waterdeep, especially Tanya DePass, who is in the chat and watching this right now, so I feel like I have to call her out. But also because she's amazing and is doing, the good work. I was going to say the work of Pelor, bringing justice to all. So I can't wait for it. And we're also going to have high rollers there. So Marcum and his crew coming from the UK. Dragon Friends are making a return from Australia. They are in the future, but they will be in our time zone very soon in May 17th, 18th, and 19th. They are missing one of their number. I just found out because one of them is running for the Australian Senate, which I think is pretty amazing. So that's great, and we look forward to campaigning for him from afar from LA. So that's going to be really cool. Gosh, there's so many other groups to list, but Heroes of the Veil will be there from D&D Beyond. There is going to be Sirens of the Realms there, as well as a bunch of other new groups that I don't want to spoil just yet. We haven't announced them for sure, but you will be able to see all of their amazingness May 17th, 18th, and 19th on twitch.tv/DND. And one other group that is definitely going to be there is the Broken Pact, our Magic the Gathering setting of Ravnica has been embodied by them over the last 2 seasons. So I can't wait to see them and figure out what they're going to do with this new adventure at the event at D&D Live, and we're going to talk all of about the excitement right about now. So let's give them a call. I feel like I said uhs in that one. Can you cut those out? How about you cut out every third word?
Yes.
Okay, good. It'll make the same amount of sense. Yeah, Tyr and Pelor, they share some of the same. I'm going to do the Venn diagram thing again. They share some of the same. What's that called? Domains, not domains, but what was it called in second edition when they had different? The same portfolio. You know what I'm trying to say. All right. So I guess we'll do the outro. Is that the plan? We'll do that in the next, what? What do you're laughing at all the sketchy stuff that people are talking about in there.
So happy. I'm just so happy.
Yes. What did he say? Man, Elwarius, who we've had on the podcast before, and the Dungeon Master for Trace Albus. I just want to let you know that I'm continuing learning English from y'all, and sketchy is now in my vocabulary. No, it's not. It is not a part of anyone's vocabulary except for Ryan's and Pelham's, apparently. I don't know if so Pelham did this terrible thing. We have our what we call the D&D marketing calendar up on a whiteboard in our area, and instead of calendar, Pelham erased those letters and put in sketchy.
Yes.
Approved. Yes. No, it was SKEGGY, which I guess is the most prominent spelling right now. But it is not a real word, and I fault myself for saying it over again. Yeah, I'm fired. My bad. You can just blame me. Just blame it. I blame Lisa too. I mean, I think let's get some hashtags of blame Lisa going.
Speaking of sketchy, what's it the outro?
Scheduley. That's a whole new word. Oh man. Hey.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's the whole outro, people. We're done. I just realized I started the midro with that exact same phrase. So I was like, I'm just going to repeat myself over and over again. Oh, man. That was such a fantastic interview. I love talking to creative folks, bringing in the ideas of what's happening in the Magic the Gathering lore and universe and story. There's so much going on behind those cards. Sometimes you only really get it in the flavor text on each of those Magic cards or in the artwork. And I love that in Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, the product that Dungeons & Dragons made last fall, that we brought a lot of that lore to life. And, we gave you the tools to bring it to life, and it is folks like Ruben and his cast from the Broken Pact that were able to bring it actually to life and for all of you. So I hope you have enjoyed what's been going on with those characters. I certainly have. I've been playing a lot of Magic lately, both digitally and paper, so I'm love seeing all those come to life. So here's to more, and they're going to be at D&D Live, so I'm excited to see what they bring to the table there. I let you know about a whole bunch of products in the intro, and so I don't necessarily want to go over any more, but I do want to make sure everyone knows that Stranger Things D&D role-playing game starter set will be in stores very soon if it's not already available to you. That is a way to get Stranger Things fans, people who love that show on Netflix, which is basically a love letter to Dungeons & Dragons as well as kind of 80s action, occultish type movies in the 80s and 90s. By what's shown in that show about role-playing in Dungeons & Dragons gets that, carrot shown up in people's brains, and they might want to try to jump into playing Dungeons & Dragons. Well, that's what this starter set is all about. It is the basic rules of Dungeons & Dragons contained within a dice set, an adventure that is made to look like it's from Mike's notebook, which I think is super cool. The adventure is called, let me make sure I get it right, The Hunt for the Thessal Hydra. So it takes cue from season 2 there, but it also includes a bunch of references and things to both for both D&D fans as well as fans of the show. So jump into that if you can. And it also comes with 2 miniatures. One is a painted Demogorgon that looks like the one from the show, and one is an unpainted mini that you can paint yourself. So hopefully this inspires more people to jump into creating and painting minis, because I think that's a really neat hobby. Something that I do not have the patience or the manual dexterity for, but I know a lot of other people love to do that. And hey, now I might want to be inspired to do that myself. There's also going to be 2 new Endless Quest books coming this year. We'll be talking hopefully to Matt Forbeck about these, but they are a kind of a pick your path storyline. So it is a novel, but you can kind of make some choices in between and go to different areas to feel like you have some active participation in the story. The 4 that came out last year were all based on the 4 major classes on Dungeons & Dragons, so Fighter, Mage, Rogue, and Cleric. But the 2 new ones are a Cleric and a Rogue adventure. The Cleric adventure is called Escape from Castle Ravenloft, and of course has everything to do with escaping Strahd's lair before you are doomed to remain there forever. And then a similarly themed one, but it's a rogue adventure, the Mad Mage's Academy, where you have to go in and steal the spellbook of Halaster Blackcloak from inside the halls of his magic academy in Undermountain. So that's pretty cool. And those books will be coming out later on this year. We also have the D&D Adventurers, Young Adventurers guides that are being created by Jim Zub as well as a wonderful team of folks putting together stuff. Those are kind of the bridging the gap between starter set to jumping into the core rule books of the Player's Guide. It has a lot of themes about Dungeons and Dragons that may not be familiar to young readers. They're designed for readers from 8 to 12 years old. And it gets the fun of what makes Dungeons and Dragons cool kind of across, and then hopefully allow them to jump in and start playing with all of those concepts and themes in their brains already. So those are pretty cool. Those are coming out. 2 of them in July. And 2 more coming in later on this year. So we'll be talking more about those in the weeks to come. But just want to make sure those were on your radar for people who are parents and or just like reading amazing books. Yeah, that's it. I would tell you I would spoil all of the Avalon Hill news here for Shelley, but I think she would possibly never come back on the podcast. But I will be doing that for sure at D&D Live 2019 when we're streaming live in front of hundreds of and maybe even thousands of people. So I'll put her on the spot and make sure she tells you everything about what's happening there. All right, well, that's it. I am at Greg Tito. You can follow me there on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram at Greg_Tito. If you want to find out everything about Dungeons & Dragons, go to dungeonsanddragons.com. If you want to find out more about D&D Live, that's at dnd.wizards.com/D&D Live 2019. Check out all of our social on Twitter at wizards_DND or on the Dungeons & Dragons Facebook page. We also are on Instagram as well. We'll be doing more posting there, definitely from the event, as that is a picture-perfect area. It's fraught with amazing photos and images, so we will be posting a lot of those over the course of the event in May. So go ahead and give that account a follow as well. If you want to find out about Avalon Hill stuff, go to their Twitter page at Avalon Hill 2. There can be only 2. I think that's their catchphrase. That's why they chose that. And of course, they have a website and Facebook page as well. And Shelley's at Shelley Moo, so you can bug her and let her know on Twitter when she can return and add some more levity to these intros, midtros, and outros. In the meantime, I'm so glad she's not here because no one is going to be, digging around on the roof of this cave, making sure that there's no dangerous, creatures or medusas or anything like that. But I do have one thing to protect us, and that is this Platinum Marcum Award for the Stream of Many Eyes. So I'm just gonna put it there and hold up everything on the precipice. Oh, it's not strong enough. Sketchy is dead. All right, we are going to. All right, well, let me check on the chat first to make sure everyone knows that Sketchy is dead. I killed it. The award fails. It got taken down. Yes. Oh no, everyone's just yelling at me about saying Sketchy. I'm sorry, Lisa. What is Sketchy may never die. I hate you, Pelham. The entire cave fell on it. Everyone's dead. All right, so we're going to take a short break here and get ready to call in our amazing guests from the Broken Pact. So that'll take a little bit of going on. And in the meantime, I'm going to crucify Sketchy, and I think we should be good to go.